Despite having a fantastic career on the PGA Tour, Sergio Garcia was arguably one of his generation's biggest underachievers as a result of the direction his career is headed. After his debut, Garcia was projected to be the next big thing, but some way, somehow, Tiger Woods always outshined him whenever they played competitively, and it never really went down well with the Spaniard. You'll recall that Garcia and Woods have been age-long rivals, so the Spanish pro golfer wouldn't, for any reason, miss a shot to take a swipe at the former world #1. So what did Garcia have to say? Keep watching to find out all the details. The PGA Tour LIV Golf battle escalated again after Tiger Woods backed Rory Mclroy's call on LIV Golf's chief executive Greg Norman to step aside. Woods echoed McIlroy's earlier comments stating that Greg has to go for both leagues to reach a compromise.
Is not right now, not with their leadership, not with Greg there and his animosity towards the tour itself. I don't see that happening. As Rory said, and I said it as well, I think Greg's got to leave.
Following this, several golfers came forward to pick sides, and Sergio Garcia wasn't left out. The ace golfer, who was among the early rebels to switch to LIV Golf, came to Norman's rescue while slamming the comment and asking if Jay Monahan should go as well. But just before we focus on Garcia's clapback, let's circle back to Tiger and Rory's comments on LIV's boss to get a perfect understanding of the showdown. At the DP World Tour, Rory McIlroy went viral for his comments about LIV's commissioner Greg Norman. The former world #1 had stated that in order to end the stalemate between both leagues, the Australian ex-pro golfer would have to leave for an adult in the room. Rory said, "I think Greg needs to exit stage left. He has made his mark, but now is the right time to say, look, you've got this thing off the ground, but no one is going to talk unless there's an adult in the room that can actually try to mend fences." After the four-time major champion made the statement, it took Tiger Woods exactly 2 weeks to take a stand, and it turns out he was on the same page with McIlroy. At the Hero World Challenge in the Bahamas, Tiger spoke to the media aimed squarely at the coexistence of the PGA Tour and LIV Golf. When asked what needed to be done for the PGA Tour and LIV Golf to coexist, Woods didn't speculate as he called for the head of the chief executive of LIV Golf. Without mincing words, Woods said Greg Norman has got to leave in order for both sides to have an amicable relationship. "First of all, Greg has to go," said Woods, "and then any legal action brought against us and any countersuit we brought against them would also need to be put on hold. So then we can talk. We can all talk freely." With comments from both Tiger and Rory, it seems everyone was on the offensive, but Garcia wasn't having any of that, at least not for long. Defending the Rebel Series chief executive, the Spanish golfer said that both he and the players on LIV support Norman and that a lasting solution can be found with him in the picture. He also didn't agree one bit with his former PGA Tour rival. Speaking in an interview with the Spanish outlet Marca, Garcia said, "They say that Greg Norman has to go, but does Monahan have to stay or go too? It's very easy to say those on the other side must leave. What about those on your side? I mean, these are also people who have done things wrongly," he continued. "You have to look at everything. Norman is our CEO and we totally support him. We all hope we can reach a compromise." Garcia was simply calling for a level playing field. You could tell that he wanted whatever treatment meted out at LIV Golf to be done to the PGA Tour. So if you're calling on Greg Norman to step aside, then maybe Jay Monahan should be brave enough to do the same. Of course, he knows that's not going to happen, but he just wanted to set the record straight. The thing with LIV players is that they often show their loyalty toward each other. They go as far as backing each other and even Greg himself, no matter how big the controversy. Garcia also admitted that both sides have obviously done wrong, but saying the bad guys are only on the PGA Tour is unacceptable. There are obviously people who have done wrong in both places, but they make it seem that the bad guys are on one side, he concluded. It is necessary to state that Sergio Garcia's comments echo many LIV golfers, including the likes of PGA Tour's Adam Scott, who has spoken against Tiger Woods' comments. Scott's strong statement on LIV's chief executive has stirred conversation over his stand on the league and its executives. Despite Garcia's successful PGA Tour career with 11 wins and earning more than $54 million on the circuit, he didn't hesitate to resign when the opportunity arose. There was this incident in May at the Wells Fargo Championship where a rules official's annoyance resulted in an outburst that was recorded on a video by television. "I can't wait to quit this tour," Garcia said, and immediately switched to LIV Golf instead of waiting for punishment.
Once I got over this side, does that make sense? I mean, I knew it was on this side of the river. Okay. Can't wait to live this tour.
However, there's a player on the PGA Tour that happens to have an independent mind. The player everyone assumed was a lock to switch to LIV Golf is still on the PGA Tour and might be the only player capable of making sense without making enemies. The Aussie pro golfer Adam Scott spoke without an agenda, and in these messy times, that can make it pretty difficult to discern where exactly he stands. Adam has made no secret that he is interested in the rival tour, which recently named 3 new venues ahead of its next season. Speculations have it that he has made the commitment to compete in more U.S. events next year and even wants to clinch more major championships. The ace golfer listened over the last 2 months as the 2 major voices, Tiger and Rory, took turns saying golf cannot come to an agreement as long as Norman remains the face of LIV Golf. You see, negotiations don't start with one party deciding who speaks for the other. Most curious to Adam was the concept of any peace talks. LIV Golf has spent almost $2 billion to start a rival league and lure big names, and the PGA Tour doubled down by placing a ban on players who left. LIV Golf immediately sued, and the PGA Tour countersued. So what's there to talk about if not depositions? On this subject, the 2013 Masters winner told the media he believes the good of golf will eventually prevail. Scott believes LIV and the PGA Tour should both get on with whatever they're doing. I guess they're speaking for the PGA Tour, but I really don't know what this coming together is all about. Is someone making that up? I don't know if that is even possible. Scott said it all sounded like a rumor to him, and, more so, probably because he wasn't really updated. But most importantly, he genuinely felt that both tours should continue with whatever they were doing and things would sort themselves out with time. Apparently, Scott seems to be the only player that believes both tours don't have to collaborate. He believes that things don't necessarily need to be done in collaboration for the good of the game. Scott sees it as a significant shakeup no one is really used to, but in the end, things will all work out. Now, to the average mind, Garcia was probably being loyal to LIV Golf and looking out for his boss, which is obviously normal in this context. But he and his former rival Tiger Woods have a feud that dates back to almost a decade. During the European Tour Players Awards dinner in 2013, Garcia jokingly said he would invite the World Golf Hall of Famer over for some fried chicken after the Players. Although Garcia would later apologize, he maintained it was a silly remark. "I answered a joking question with a silly remark, but I never intended to be racist," Garcia said. But that was far from the end of the matter. The back and forth continued, and guess who won the Players? Yeah, it was Woods. It was in that same tournament that Sergio complained about being distracted by Tiger on the second hole. That account was disputed, and both players refused to back down. Later, Woods was asked if he would clear the air with the Spaniard, and he simply replied, "No." It drew fits of laughter. And when Garcia was asked the same question at the 2013 BMW PGA Championship at Wentworth, he went on to say that since Tiger didn't want him in his life, he doesn't want Tiger in his either. So let's move on, Garcia said. But have they really moved on? When we first watched Garcia and Woods play professionally, they seemed destined to have a brilliant, competitive rivalry. However, what happened was a war of words. So what do you think about Garcia's response to Woods? It is clear what Tiger wants, but will LIV give in? Will Sergio Garcia and others who stand up for their leader triumph? For more intriguing golf content, click this video showing on your screen right now.